The city air was different, thicker, faster, and filled with possibilities. Amelia stepped off the bus with Emily in her arms, clutching the small piece of paper with the address of the tiny apartment she had managed to rent. The room was barely larger than a closet, with peeling wallpaper and a rickety window, but it was hers. A place to start again. She laid Emily gently on the makeshift bed, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Mommy's going to make this work, baby girl. I promise." The next morning, Amelia dressed in her only presentable outfit, a pale blouse and dark skirt she had ironed with the steam from her shower. She was heading to her job interview, one she had pinned all her hopes on. The receptionist role at a prestigious company might not sound like much, but for her, it meant stability. A steady paycheck. Food for Emily. A chance at dignity. Amelia walked nervously into the sleek, glass-fronted building, its modern design dwarfing her completely. She checked in at the front desk, clutching her folder of documents. "Please wait here, miss," the receptionist said politely. Amelia sat in the waiting area, her heart pounding. She smoothed her skirt, trying to calm her nerves. The elevator doors opened with a soft ding. Several people in suits walked out briskly, but one figure made her breath catch in her throat. Her eyes widened. It was him, the man from the flight. The stranger whose shoulder she had slept on. The one who had soothed Emily with a silver rattle. And now he walked across the lobby with an aura of command, assistants trailing behind him, people parting as if the air itself shifted around him. Their eyes met. Amelia froze, heat rushing to her cheeks. Surely he wouldn't remember her. Surely. "Miss Lane," the receptionist called, startling her. "They're ready for you." Her legs wobbled as she followed the assistant to the executive floor. She stepped into a spacious office, decorated with glass walls, sleek furniture, and an expansive view of the skyline. And there he was. Behind the large desk sat the same man, only now, the weight of his identity hit her. Alexander Knight, billionaire, CEO. The name was etched into the brass plaque on his desk, the same name she had seen in business articles, the kind of man who was utterly untouchable in her world. Amelia's throat went dry. "You," she whispered before she could stop herself. His gray eyes narrowed slightly in recognition. "Miss Lane," he said smoothly. "I didn't expect to see you here. I didn't know," she stammered, clutching her folder like a lifeline. "I had no idea you were the CEO of the company you're interviewing for." His lips curved in a faint, knowing smile. Life is full of coincidences. Amelia wanted to sink into the floor. She felt completely out of place, standing in her cheap blouse and second-hand shoes, while he radiated effortless power behind his mahogany desk. "Please, sit," he said, gesturing to the chair opposite him. She lowered herself cautiously, her heart thundering. Alexander leaned back in his chair, studying her. "Tell me, Miss Lane, why do you want this position?" Her palms were sweaty. "Because I need it," she admitted honestly. "I have a daughter. She depends on me. I may not have the same background as others, but I'm hardworking, and I don't give up easily." There was silence. Amelia feared she had said too much, revealed too much vulnerability. But then, Alexander's gaze softened almost imperceptibly. "Your daughter, Emily, wasn't it?" Her eyes widened. "You remember her name?" He didn't answer. Instead, he stood, walking to the window, his back to her. "You remind me of someone," he said quietly. "Someone I once knew." Amelia waited, unsure what to say. Finally, he turned back. His expression unreadable. "You'll start on Monday." Her mouth fell open. I got the job." "Yes," he said simply, returning to his desk. "Don't make me regret it." Amelia nodded quickly, unable to hide the tears welling in her eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Knight. You won't." She left the office in a daze, her heart pounding. She couldn't believe it. She had a job. She had a chance. But she also couldn't ignore the strange connection she felt toward Alexander Knight. Over the next weeks, Amelia adjusted to her new role. She answered phones, scheduled meetings, and filed documents. She worked hard, staying late when needed, never complaining. Emily spent her days in a small daycare nearby, and every evening, Amelia would rush to pick her up, hugging her tight. And though Alexander rarely interacted with her directly, Amelia could feel his presence everywhere. Sometimes, she would catch him watching her from across the office floor, his expression unreadable. Other times, she would find small gestures that made her wonder, like the time she discovered Emily's daycare fee mysteriously covered for the month, or when she found an expensive baby formula in her grocery bag she hadn't bought. One late evening, Amelia was alone in the office, finishing some paperwork. The city lights twinkled outside. She rubbed her tired eyes, ready to head home, when the sound of footsteps startled her. It was Alexander. "You work too hard," he said quietly, his deep voice breaking the silence. "I have to," Amelia replied softly. "For Emily." He stepped closer, his gaze lingering on her face. "You remind me of what matters." Her heart fluttered, but she forced herself to stay composed. "Why are you being so kind to me?" she whispered. He hesitated, his jaw tightening. "Because once, I wasn't kind enough to someone who needed it." Their eyes locked, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Amelia's breath caught. She wanted to ask, to know more, but before she could, Emily's cry echoed faintly from the baby monitor she carried with her everywhere. Alexander glanced at the device, then back at Amelia. To her shock, he smiled, a real, warm smile that transformed his usually stoic features. "You should go," he said gently. "Your daughter needs you." And for the first time, Amelia realized, this man, this untouchable billionaire, wasn't as cold as the world believed. He had secrets, regrets, and perhaps, a heart capable of kindness. As she left the office that night, Amelia felt something stirring deep inside her. Hope. Hope that her life, once marked by struggle and loneliness, was about to change forever. And though she didn't yet know how, she sensed that Alexander Knight would be at the center of it all. Because the flight that began with her falling asleep on a stranger's shoulder was only the beginning of a story neither of them had expected.